Today I've got another pre-workout review for you, and it is the Pre-Lab Pro by Nutra Nutraceuticals. It is one that you may not have heard of before. It is relatively new. It is a company trying to take over the nootropic space, so the brain supplement space, and combine it with the pre-workout space. Obviously two very high grossing, high margin supplement niches. So I'm gonna score Pre-Lab Pro like I score all pre-workouts. We're gonna start with the ingredients. The main thing is whether the ingredients are dosed effectively for them to work for you. Secondly, we're gonna judge it on mixability, and then we're gonna judge it on taste. Those are the three main criteria for a pre-workout. And then finally, we will cover the price, because the price will dictate whether it is worth its weight. So let's start with the first criteria, and that is the ingredients. The most important thing with the pre-workout. Nothing else matters if the ingredients are not there. So we're only gonna run through the main ingredients within the pre-workout that make it a pre-workout. And the first one, we have natural caffeine, we have L-theanine, we have L-tyrosine, L-citrulline, and red beet powder. Now, starting from the top, what they've done is they've done a caffeine L-theanine combination. So this was one of the original nootropic stacks. It's actually well researched to have a positive effect on alertness, mood, all those cognitive benefits. Typically, you're looking at a 2-to-1 ratio of L-theanine to caffeine. Now, the reason it works so well is because caffeine is an upper, and L-theanine is somewhat of a downer. So you get this synergistic effect where you get the alertness, you get the enhanced mood, you get the enhanced performance from the caffeine, but you reduce the anxiety, you reduce the jitteriness with the L-theanine. So if you are caffeine naive or you are sensitive to caffeine, having L-theanine can make it so you don't feel so anxious and jittery when you take it. I know for myself, if I have too much caffeine, I feel very anxious and jittery, and I don't need much. But having L-theanine with my caffeine helps take that edge off. And this is what it does within this supplement. So they have 80 milligrams of natural caffeine from coffee, and they have 160 milligrams of L-theanine. So they've gone straight with the standard 2-to-1 ratio L-theanine to caffeine, which is great. The nice thing is as well, 80 milligrams of caffeine, it's not much, it's like a cup of coffee. So you're only getting a very small amount of caffeine. You're not having huge doses like you would within pre-workouts that might have 200, 300, 400 milligrams of caffeine. So if you are sensitive to caffeine, then this is perfect. I use this sometimes because of that reason. We then have L-tyrosine. Now, most pre-workouts have L-tyrosine within their formulas. It is known to improve the ability to handle stress. However, this is dosed at 400 milligrams. There is not one pre-workout on the market that doses L-tyrosine to a point where it could be effective. So I can't fault Pre-Lab Pro for having only 400 milligrams, because you need 100 to 150 milligrams per kilogram of body weight to see these benefits. And if you're doing that, you're basically filling up the whole serving size with L-tyrosine, and you're literally just selling L-tyrosine. So I understand them not dosing it properly. I guess brands put L-tyrosine in their formulations just so they can say they have it in there as another nootropic or brain supplement. However, it's not going to do much for you. We then have L-citrulline and with L-glutathione. Now 2.2 grams or 2,200 milligrams. Now the problem is we're talking L-citrulline for endurance benefits. And when we're looking at L-citrulline for acute benefits, we're looking at 6 to 8 grams in a dose. Here we have 2.2 in a blend. So we may be looking at 1.2 to 1.5 grams within a serving. So again, you're not going to get anything out of L-citrulline within this. Now, the reason pre-workouts include L-citrulline is because it's a vasodilator or a nitric oxide booster. So if you remember the old No Explode supplement, they use L-arginine to try do this. The problem is L-arginine gets destroyed in the gut, and you don't get much of the conversion to nitric oxide to improve essentially the pump or blood flow. Now with L-citrulline, you bypass the gut. It gets broken down in the kidneys to L-arginine, and then in the kidneys, L-arginine can then turn to nitric oxide, giving you those pumps, extra endurance. Now, whether that has any benefit within the gym is debatable. There's some research now suggesting that within the gym, it doesn't have any real effect, but with an endurance performance, it definitely does within the research. However, the dose is far too low for it to do anything meaningful for you. And then finally, we have red beet powder. And these are relatively new I guess, natural compounds within pre-workouts that companies are using to add extra nitric oxide boosting or vasodilation. So red beet powder, 1500 milligrams. Typically we see 600 milligrams is enough to induce some of these vasodilation properties. So we're gonna get enough in here to be able to do that. So we could call this a low stimulation pre-workout or pump pre-workout even. Most pump pre-workouts don't have any stimulants in them. This has a small amount of caffeine in it with the pump properties. So let's move on to mixability. So I have half a glass of water here, and we will put our full scoop within this. So one serving size is 13 grams within this, so that's pretty standard for most pre-workouts. All right, you can see the dark red color there from the red beet powder. So as you can see, it's a little bit of sediment at the bottom there. You might need a little more water than usual just because of how this mixes, but it mixes well enough. I usually mix this within a shaker. So they actually, if you purchase Pre-Lab Pro, you actually get one of these shaker bottles. It actually mixes perfectly in here. You don't have to fill it to the top, but just in here, shake it, and it's perfectly fine within a bottle. So I've done that many times and it works, but just to show you, that's how it comes out. You might just need to swish it around if you're going to drink this. So now we're gonna score this on taste. Unfortunately, this is probably the worst tasting pre-workout out of all of them that I've tasted, unfortunately. I think it's because of the red beet powder in there. It changes the taste or the flavor profile completely. The thing is, it's not very sweet and it's very tart. So if you don't like sweet pre-workouts, this is for you then. But if you like a little more, I guess you could say, like a blue raspberry kind of flavor, this isn't it. This is more of a, I guess you could say, an earthy taste to it, I think because of the red beet powder. So taste isn't great. But if you're mixing this with, for example, another pump pre-workout for the extra ingredients, whatever it is, obviously that taste gets masked relatively quickly. That's what I've done before. I've used this as a low stimulant pre-workout, specifically for a little bit of caffeine, and then adding a pump pre-workout with it. And then that just masks the taste completely and you get some of the benefits of having a little bit of caffeine. And finally, the price. Now, for one tub of this, it costs $59. So $59 for 20 servings per container, you're paying over $2 a serving. So it is not cheap for this product, for just a little bit of caffeine and some red beet powder essentially. Now, the thing is, you get better deals when you buy essentially in bulk. So 2 of them is $118, still not a great deal, but if you buy 4 of these pre-workouts, giving you approximately a 4-month supply, it means you pay for 3 and you get 1 of these for free, plus you get this shaker bottle. So essentially, if you're buying 4, you're gonna get a better deal. If you're buying 1 or 2, you're not getting a very good deal at all. So just bear that in mind if you are going to purchase the Pre-Lab Pro, go for the 4 versus the 1 or 2. Would I recommend you getting this pre-workout? The only people I would recommend Pre-Lab Pro for are people who don't like having a lot of caffeine. You will struggle to find a pre-workout with under 160 milligrams of caffeine in a serving. That's just not there. Most pre-workouts are there with 200 plus milligrams. Energy drinks all have above 160 milligrams of caffeine. So if you're looking for something that's low stim, just so you can have a pick-me-up during the day, something that's not gonna send you over the edge, anxious and jittery, this is perfect. I like to use this sometimes as an energy drink replacement. If I don't want a full can of Monster or whatever with 160 or 200 milligrams of caffeine, I can go with this and I don't need to worry. It's only 80 milligrams of caffeine, plus it has the L-theanine in there to take the edge off. So that's where I see this as an advantage. If you're looking for something that's more performance-based, that's going to give you more caffeine, that's going to give you more of the efficacious ingredients for a pre-workout, then I would recommend something else. But if you do want to purchase this, please down in the description, there will be a link to this product. Obviously, I get a small kickback if you go through that product. If you don't want to, that is fine. But if you do, it just helps support me and the channel. But if you like this, please let me know if there are any other supplements, pre-workouts, gear that you want me to review, and I will get those done for you. So please like, subscribe, share with everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.